I've got change for us all.
Is no
Restart.
Big move in Bitcoin then, in contrast to all the notes I wrote pre-show, which were telling me that this was going to put Bitcoin under pressure.
The narrative that perhaps this launch of these political meme coins will sap flows from Bitcoin is showing us that it's really not the case this morning. If anything, it's just accelerated the momentum and the excitement around cryptocurrency under another Trump
Hello.
Hi, Dewald. What is all this FOMO about? Should I buy Bitcoin now?
Are you smoking your socks? You should rather watch my show. You should rather watch my show.
Hello and welcome, legends. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Wow, what a pump that we got yesterday, and then what a dump we got yesterday as well. Both a pump and a dump. Over the weekend, I saw Andy went live yesterday as price was pumping. I also highlighted a couple of trading scenarios to our Legends Pro community, and most of them actually jumped into the epic short here to the downside. Okay, also taking profits from the longs we were in the upside, right, legends? This is what I shared last night. Legends, okay, let me just read. Keep an eye on these levels as Bitcoin moves to the upside if you are in a long from lower down. These are good profit taking areas to consider. I'm still in the week's long from Thursday that we took together on Thursday. Remember, these levels also becomes very good shorting SFPs. Right, and this is what happened. The first area that I highlighted is the 1-to-1 extension as price was pumping here to the upside. Price tapped that level and got a rejection and fell back to the trend. It retested the trend over here. And then what happened? Price pumped and it tapped the 1.236 to perfection, and now we are where we are, right? Now we are where we are. I closed my week's trade when we tapped the 1-to-1 extension over here, so very profitable trade here to the upside. I had to hold on to it for a couple of days, so one could argue it wasn't a day trade, right? That was like a mini swing trade here to the upside. And then we got the rejection here at the 1-to-1 extension, or the 1.236. If I go here onto the 15-minute time frame, right, legends, this was the area of resistance that I identified with the Legends Pros, and they know they are here in the live stream. I know they are here. Told them, you take the fib from the high, because the people asked me, Dewald, where should I take the fib from? From the low, and then you reverse it to the upside. Okay, keep an eye on the 1-to-1 extension and the 1.236. Wow, right, this is what transpired. We got the rejection at the 1-to-1 extension. This is also where I closed my week's trade. Let me just make this nice and bright and yellow so everyone can see. And then price came and did a retest, and then it tapped the 1.236 to the dollar. And now we are where we are. Currently just falling here to the downside. Okay, and with this momentum to the downside, I am very much interested in shorts. Okay, so most of the liquidity, sorry, legends, let me just check out something over here. Sorry, legends, the gate is phoning me and I'm not expecting a delivery, so I'm not sure why the gate is phoning me. Sorry. Right, legends, now, okay, we got the dump here to the downside, and with this retracement that we're now getting to the upside, I'm now looking for shorts because this momentum can continue to the downside. Right, now the big question, is it over? is it over for the price of Bitcoin? Because when I look at liquidity, okay, most of the liquidity to the upside has been eaten up over the weekend, right? Most of the let me swing my face to the other side, right? Here you can see most of the liquidity, the damage has been done there to the upside. And now that we grabbed some liquidity here to the downside, you can see how when you tap these liquidity pools, how beautifully price gets a reaction. You tap the liquidity to the upside, you fall. You grab the liquidity to the downside, you get a reaction back to the upside. Okay, especially here on the smaller time frames. 48 hours, 12 hour. I like to look at the liquidity on the smaller time frames because I'm a day trader, right? So these levels are quite important to me from a day trading perspective. Okay, so I just want to get here onto the 12 hours, see what's cooking. Right, so liquidity building up to both sides. Okay, anyways, legends. Now we're getting a reaction. So the next levels, okay, let's get into the trading setups. I'm going to keep this live stream short and powerful. And then later I'm going to do a live stream in terms of what do I see on the macro time frame. Is the bull market finished? Everyone's still calling for lower. This is part of a corrective structure to the upside. And I'm going to give you my bias. It's not often that I do that, where I actually, usually I like to share scenarios and tell everyone, well, whether we go up, whether we go down, I just trade the scenarios and I just trade level to level. But tonight I'm going to share with you my bias and potentially the levels that we could hit to the upside, right? We all know the $120,000, the $130,000 area for if momentum continues to the upside that everyone's keeping an eye on. But there's a level that I'm going to share tonight. For now, I'm going to go into the trading scenarios because, we want to trade throughout the day and we want to take those trades with good risk management and get some profits in the bag. Right. And I will also share with you guys the Theta trade that I'm still in because I saw there was a lot of people that took that Theta trade with me. Also, the pro members, the pro community also took that Theta trade with me. And I'm just going to share with you what I'm planning to do with that trade. And obviously, guys, nothing is ever financial advice. You click the button, okay? This is just for entertainment purposes, but I can only share what I do as a technical trader. And now, let's jump into the levels. So, the next levels that I am watching for longs, okay? I've said I'm looking for shorts, but I just want to share with everyone the levels that I'm still keeping an eye on for longs. Now, you take a trend-based FIP from this pivot. Okay, there's one over here. You snap it on. You click, right? You click here at the bottom. And you click here at the top. You reverse it. So you swing the levels back to the downside. The most important levels to the downside is what I'm showing you right now. And most of you, the loyal followers over here, you know that I love myself some trend-based, okay, FIB extension levels. It's my favorite way to trade, and they usually get way more better respected than any other level that I trade. Okay, so one of the trading scenarios that I've highlighted also this morning for the Legends Pro community is the 1-to-1 extension, which we front run. Okay, very frustrating that we front run this damn area. So I will still keep an eye on this area because I know that it's a very important level. And I'm looking at the structure as, what if this is an A, this is a B, and this is now forming a C wave to the downside, a corrective structure to the downside. These levels become very important levels for me to pay attention to for potential longs. Okay, and I'm not saying, guys, it bounces, it goes, it bounces, it goes. I'm looking for day trading scenarios, scalps, okay, where I get in and I get out, hopefully within the same day. And sometimes, like with the week's trade that I had over here, where's that week's trade? It's this one over here, okay? With this week's trade, I will leave some of the position open. I left 10% of this position open. Okay, this was a trade that we all took together over here, right? We entered over here. This is where I took the week's trade. I took profits over here, majority of my profits, 90% of my profits, I took it over here, and I just left 10% to run, and I closed it over here. Right, so amazing, beautiful trade in the back. So sometimes it does pay just to leave some of the position open to run. But when you leave a position open to run, you still need to know where to take profits. Okay, otherwise you're going to get stopped out, right? Without taking profits on that 10% that you're leaving to the upside. Right, legends? And remember, now that I'm showing you weeks over here, down in the description, always down in the description is the links for... Yes, the links for the exchanges that I use to do my daily trading on. Okay, I've got BTCC, first link down in the description, where you get up to $10,000 sign-up bonus, depending on the activities that you complete and how much money you deposit in your features account. You can also trade commodities and stocks on BTCC, like gold and silver and Facebook and a bunch of other stocks on weeks. Okay, you still get that 20% cash back on the money that you deposit in your features account. And for the first 100 users, you also get an additional $100 for free to trade with. You also get 25% discount on your trading fees. And then I've got Bluffin here as well. And with all three of these exchanges, all you need is an email and a password to sign up and start trading some leverage trading. Okay, one of my favorite ways to trade. Right, legends, it's also your way to support the channel. So now let's dive back into the technical analysis. So the obvious areas to the downside is the 1-to-1, but I want to see how price is going to react at this level, because it came awfully close, and it front run that area. And as price was falling here to the downside, I told the Legends Pro community, damn man, I'm waiting for this level, and then it got front run. Very frustrating. Okay, also I was wondering, well, why did we get a bounce before we tapped the 1-to-1 extension? Because I'm just that type of person that likes to scratch. Why did price bounce there and not here? So another thing that I then did is I took a FIP retracement from the low to the high. Okay, we tapped the 786 to perfection, to the dollar. We got the bounce. Also, when I take this FIP from this low to the high on Binance, okay, on Binance over here, we front run the 0.88. But on the other exchanges, we actually tap the 0.88. On Bybit and some of the other BTC pairs, we actually tapped the 0.88, and that's why we got the bounce. Right, so I will, from a trading perspective, still keep an eye on this level. Okay, I want to see how price is going to react when it falls to this level over here. Okay, and I'm looking at a scalp. If it dips below, it gets acceptance back above. I enter with my stop loss below the low, and I will start taking profits when you hit resistance to the upside. TP1, TP2, and this is most probably where I will close my position. I'm not going to leave a moon bag for this trade, because I realized that most of the damage has been done to the upside. It would be very strange to get a V-shaped recovery from where we are right now. I think there's a much higher probability to go sideways and to claim these lows once again, right? So these becomes scalp trades to me. You get in, you get out, you take your profits, you wait for the next area. Next level that I'm keeping an eye on. Basically a swing failure pattern from that little pivot over there. And then a little bit further to the downside is the 1.618. Okay, I also want to show everyone, why is this fib extension so significant? Let me put it into perspective so that you know why you are taking these trades. Why is Dewald taking the trades or considering the trades from these levels over here? When I go back here onto the 1 hour time frame, okay, legends, this, I'm counting this structure as an ABC. Okay, if this is an A, this was a B, and now we're forming a C wave here to the downside in a 3-wave structure, A, B, C, this should be your maximum target. So in the thumbnail I said, is it over? Maybe not. Because if all of this is still part of a corrective structure and you complete a C wave in an ABC, you still expect the highs to be claimed. Because this is corrective. And this should be impulsive back to the upside. Right. An ABC also, okay, this is where it becomes a little bit more complex, and maybe I'll take a little bit more time to discuss this tonight. But, you know, when you have a ABC, you can also have a W. You can have another ABC in an X, and then you can have another ABC in a Y. So the correction can still extend. It can still chop sideways before we take this high again. Right. But there is a high probability at the moment, based on the price action that I see here, that we're still going to take the high before we take the low. Again, for now, based on the data that I have available now, if it changes, okay, based on new information, which is candles, is data, right, then I will let everyone know here in the live stream. But based on what I'm seeing right now, there's still a higher chance to take this damn high before we take the low. Again, right. Whether that be a larger WXY structure to the upside, or whether this just be a ABC, it finds support at $98,000. You have a 3-wave corrective structure, and then you continue momentum back to the upside. Right. Cool. Remember to smash up that like button, legends. Mr. Matt is in the chat over here. If you guys are not following Matt, I need to share his channel. Okay, an absolute legend. I was having quite a nice conversation with Mr. Matt and Andy when they did a collab on Friday. Quite a very, very interesting live stream that they did together. Okay, yes, Mr. Matt, if you guys haven't checked out Matt, go check out his channel. I mean, the alpha that he drops on a daily basis is absolutely insane. There we go. Right, I've just locked and loaded his YouTube channel here in the chat, and I'm just gonna pin it right now so you guys can see. Go check out Mr. Matt. We've got Andy here in the live stream as well. Both the legends inside of the live stream. Welcome, Mr. Andy and Matt. Two legends. I see there's a meme going around that I need to go to Dubai so that we can have a threesome. Right, legends, let's get back into the technical analysis. Okay, legends, just something to point out that this 1.618 is a magic number, right? Just remember this 1.618, definitely a magic number to keep in mind. Okay, so right, legends, whether this is an ABC, whether this was the end of a 5th wave to the upside, okay, when we go on to the 4-hour time frame, and this is, I think, what's scaring a lot of people at the moment, is when you look at the structure from a 4-hour time frame perspective, you can clearly see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe this was the end of the 5th wave, and this is why I'm saying I need more information to determine whether this is going to form impulses to the downside, corrective structures to the upside, and impulses back to the downside. But based on what I see right now, the probabilities are still higher to claim the high before we claim the low. Right, 1.618. You can see where the 1.618 is. So if this is an A, B, C, right, you still expect a higher low and then another impulse back to the upside. And this is purely based on the price action that we have available right now. But from a danger perspective, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you could be going down to much lower levels to correct this entire impulse to the downside. Okay, but we are day traders. We're looking for trading opportunities within this range. What if we do not get here and price just rock and rolls and continues momentum back to the upside? Okay, but that's something specifically I want to talk about tonight. For now, I just want to focus here on the 15-minute time frame. Okay, and from a shorting perspective, legends, the most interesting levels for me is when you take a FIP retracement from the high to the low. You can see where price got the rejection at the moment at the 0.236. This is where price got the rejection at the moment. The best area of resistance technically is at the 0.382. Okay, so if price taps this level, you can treat these levels as swing failure lines. Someone asked me in the pro community this morning as well, Dewald, does a $104,000 look good from a shorting perspective? Yes, it does, right? But you want to see the reaction that you're getting here right now at the moment. That, in hindsight, was actually a very good shorting opportunity. Okay, if you zoom in over here, you can see you dip above. You fail to close any 15-minute candles above, your stop goes above the high, and you pay yourself as price is moving to the downside. beautiful rejection at the 0.382. If it makes a higher low and it continues, next area that I'm paying attention to. Right, legends, technically this looks like the best area of resistance here to the upside, but I mean you've got the 0.5 and the golden pocket as well, because this momentum can continue to the downside, where you have an impulse to the downside, a corrective structure to the upside, and you continue the impulses to the downside to the next levels that I've highlighted for potential longs. And in a nutshell, these are the trading scenarios that I'm watching. Now, I want to discuss the Theta trade. Okay. I had a lot of people querying and asking questions about the Theta trade. Guys, I'm just going to keep it simple over here. Okay. I'm still expecting a high, one more high. Okay. The most bullish case scenario that I see on Theta, there's a bearish case scenario as well. The most bullish case scenario is you create a 112. Okay. Where's my pen? This turns out to be a 112. 1212. Which can go even to the 786, and then you get an explosion back to the upside. If price retraces this deep and it starts finding strength, okay, your profit-taking area is going to move up, right? The trade that I told everyone about on Friday is to say that, well, I'm speculating on one more fifth wave and a fourth wave to form over here. The rule for the trade that I'm in at the moment is my invalidation is the 0.618. This is where my stop loss is. I showed everyone the trade. Let me see if I still have it here. There we go. There's the trade. Okay. Stop loss is the 618. This is where I'm building my position. My TP that I had to the downside, or my limit order that I had to the downside, got filled, and I'm currently still in this trade. Right. And this is where I plan to take profits. Basically claiming the highs. If I get stopped out, I will look for a next trading opportunity. Maybe this is the trend that is forming over here. Okay, I will wait for the break of the trend. Okay, because now I'm starting to get questions from people to say that, well, Dewald, what if this turns out to be a 112 and now you got stopped out and it moves up in that direction as well, in any event. Okay, so if this is going to turn out to be a 1212 and it stops me out and then it rock and rolls here to the upside, it is what it is. It's the trade that I want to play out. So my stop loss is where it is. My positions are completely filled, and I'm going to let the trade play out. If I get stopped out, I will look for a next trading opportunity. The next trading opportunity for me would then be, okay, if price continues here to the downside, keeping it very simple, is the break of that trend. Okay. Legends, I'm going to let this trade play out. Yeah. Here's my trade, right? I'm still in this trade. If I get stopped out, it breaks the trend to the upside, I will re-enter. Okay, it is up to you as a trader to say that, well, how much capital did you deploy during this trade? Because I cannot let the trade run all the way against me up until it hits this area potentially before it gets the breakout. Because it could also take the low. Okay, because this could also be an A, B, C. And now it's going to continue momentum to the downside. I'm going to rather get stopped out over here because I've planned my trade. I know exactly where my stop loss needs to be. I know exactly where I need to take profits. I'm just going to let it play out. If you want to change the rules for this trade, it is completely up to you, because you might be speculating on this low is protected. So I'm going to build a position in this zone and I'm going to take profits when we claim the high and maybe even go higher. So guys, I cannot tell you what you need to do. Right? I'm telling you what I have done. Right? I am speculating on a 4 that's not allowed to tap the 618. I want to take profits when we claim the highs. I'm going to let the trade play out. And there's a high chance, based on what I see here on Bitcoin at the moment, there's a high chance that I'm going to get stopped out of this trade. But I want the trade to play out. I've planned it. I know where I'm taking profits. I know where my stop loss needs to go. If I get stopped out, I will re-enter the trade based on new information that I see. It's as simple as that for me. Okay, if you want to build a position speculating that the low is protected, by all means, I cannot tell you what to do. I just don't want people to FOMO in with their entire portfolios over here. And, you know, they get liquidated. The entire position or the entire account gets liquidated when you hit these lows over here. Right, guys? Please, you know, practice good risk management. Plan your trade. And I have planned my trade. I cannot afford, okay? Technically, based on the amount of money and capital that I've entered, I cannot afford to have that stop loss. The risk to reward does not make sense. It's breaking my trading rules. I have to get out. Okay. If I used a 2x, maybe a 3x position, and I nibbled very slowly to say that I'm going to make this entire zone a load up zone, and I nibbled like 0.2%, 0.2% until I was 2 or 3% or 4% into the position, okay, then I would have said, okay, well, that's a different plan, and that's not the plan that I am using over here. I will get stopped out at the 0.618 and look for another entry back to the upside if it does show signs of strength. Right, so that concludes the Theta trade that I am currently in. And remember, guys, these trades can be taken on BTCC, on Weeks, and Bluffin. Links down in the description. Let me go through some comments, okay? Let me go through some comments. Hi, legends. Mr. Willifeed, welcome to the live stream. Yes, Andy and Mr. Matt here in the live stream. I have Aditya here as well. Welcome, Mr. Aditya. Guys, absolutely just nailing the trades. Hi, all legends. TP1 from the short. Okay, I also have to say, okay, I took this trade on Theta, on Weeks, and on BTCC. And when we got the pump here to the upside, right, I think it was Mr. Crypto Big Brains. I think he's here in the stream, chat section as well. He posted on the Legends Pro community, guys, we are hitting resistance. I'm taking profits and I'm protecting my position. I did exactly the same thing on Weeks, because on Weeks, I had a beautiful entry down here. And when I saw the resistance, like Mr. Crypto Big Brains pointed out, I started taking some profits. I took about 50% profits over here, and I got stopped out at break even with 50% in the bag. That's a day trade, okay? That's just you long support, you take profits at resistance. But the swing trade that I highlighted over here on BTCC, I'm going to let it play out. Okay. Right. Cool. And that is basically it from my side today. Good morning, legends. Mr. Sockman in the house as well. Legends, a short little powerful live stream here from me this morning. I will go live later where I want to discuss the macro structure, give you guys my bias in terms of what I see play out for the rest of this year. Okay, because at the end of the day, you have to choose a side. And it's all based on probabilities. So I'm going to share that with everyone tonight. Have yourselves an amazing day. If you want to join our Legends Pro community, Mr. Crypto Big Brains has just shared the link here in the chat section. And I will see you all a little bit later. Just for now.